Good morning, everyone. My name is Graham, and I'm the land steward at Goose Pond Sanctuary. You can go ahead and leave your questions or comments in the comment section, and we'll try to get to you as soon as we can. But I'm just going to get right into it. Today, I'm at Hopkins Road Prairie. This is one of our more outlying prairies, so it's not connected to the main body that's around Goose Pond, but it's still really close by. It's only about a half mile from the pond. Just a couple of quick bird updates. Got a lot of ducks around still, a lot of breeding pairs of ducks. One thing of note about those was a pair of pintails that was found recently, and then they were sighted again just a couple days ago, so hopefully they are here nesting. We're not really sure though, cannot confirm. This morning I saw a lone pelican, which is kind of weird. I was seeing him in flocks, so I'm not really sure what that guy was doing. Might have gotten lost or something. There's a lot of shorebirds around also. There are yellow legs as always, but there is a semi-palmated plover that was seen. There were also dunlins and Wilson's phalaropes, and then there's also a couple terns. There's common terns, and also a black tern was seen. And then one other thing to check out maybe is Cherokee Marsh has been reported to have a ton of yellow-rumped warblers. I guess they're just everywhere there. I haven't seen it, but I'd recommend that you go and check that place out. It's cool. Cherokee Marsh. It's really close to where I grew up, so special place in my heart for that one. But today, I'm at Hopkins Road because of this plant. This is wood betony. It's a really interesting plant. It blooms early, so it's good for early season pollinators. But the thing that I find most interesting is that it's hemiparasitic, which means that it takes at least some of its energy from the sun. As you can see, they're still green. So they are photosynthesizing and getting energy that way. But they also are attaching their roots to nearby larger plants. And those large plants are usually tall grasses, like big blue stem or Indian grass. Also, Canada goldenrod is something that they attach to. And so this is really important to the structure of prairies, because it means that some of the more dominant plants that are really aggressive are kept in check a little bit. This one you can see is purple. Some plants purple with a lot of temperature fluctuations. So especially earlier in the spring, you'll see some purple plants like this, which is pretty cool. As I said, they bloom early. They've got some crazy spike flowers, and this patch right here that I'm in is mowed. You can see up here it's unmowed, and then on my left and in front of me is mowed. And it's mowed because of this wood betony patch. The betony seed is really valuable. It's expensive. It's really good to try to establish into prairies. And so I mowed this to help these plants really start off the season right, as we can't burn this area this year. And that's because of the burn bans, etc. Mowing isn't ideal. It's not as good as a burn, but it is beneficial at least. So there are quite a few bumblebees around me right now. I think these are mostly queens. Probably all queens, I suppose. I'm not a bumblebee expert, but they are charismatic little critters, and they're really fluffy and big and definitely loud right now. But so this is our main patch of the wood betony at Hopkins Road. There's a couple other places at Goose Pond where it grows also, but this is probably the largest one. Since there are so many bumblebees, I might have to try to chase one down for you guys. I don't know if it's gonna work. Here's one over here though. the wood betony is pollinated mostly by these larger bees. So they are really important in the seed production also. All the flowers have to get pollinated to make really good seed production. This little guy's cooperating pretty well. Definitely not an expert at the BID. If anybody knows what this is, let us know. It's really big though. It's like as big as my thumb. Okay, anyway. So I brought a book out for you guys today. It's called The Plant Species Composition of Wisconsin Prairies. And this is a really helpful guide when you're trying to restore prairies or make a plant list and things like that. It's really informative on what quote-unquote should be in the prairies, because it's based off of surveyed remnant prairies, and so it's a really informative tool. So this is the book here. I'm going to try to remember to leave you guys a link so you can look it up. So there's an online version. It's no longer in print. And it's got, you can see, it's got a big introduction setting with a lot of pictures and stuff. But the main thing that's of value here, to me anyway, are these big tables. I know they're looking a little scary, but they're pretty user-friendly actually. So let's pretend I want to know what was in a dry mesic prairie. I can go dry mesic being toward the drier scale, right? So mesic is like medium wetness. Wet prairie is wet, obviously. Dry prairie is dry. But so you can go to this dry mesic prairie table, and there's a handy little list right here with the top things on it. So if you want to make a seed list, this is a really good thing to refer to and see the ideal planting list that you can make from it. So one other cool thing it does is if you go to a different table, the plant list, so Pedicularis canadensis is wood betony. And if you follow that over, you can see this line right here. Since this is the largest number, it was probably found most often in dry mesic prairies. So this is just a thing that you can look up. All of the major plant species in the prairies are listed in here, and it's a really good reference tool to use. So I encourage you to use this, definitely. It's user friendly. One good thing about it also is that since there is an online version, you don't have to search through the whole thing. You can just use the control find command, just hold control and hit the F button and type in your plant of interest, and all those results will come up. So you can search for stuff really fast, even though it's a pretty dense, large set of tables. So yeah, I definitely recommend that you guys use that. So just a couple more things about Hopkins Road. Here is Goose Pond. I've got a little map for you. And Hopkins Road Prairie is just to the east. It's this square outlined in red Sharpie. So you would just go east on Campen Road, take a right, so go south on Hopkins Road, and then you will see Hopkins Road Prairie. And then here's more of a insight of what this map will look like. And at the parking lot, there is a trail map there, and so when you arrive, you will also be informed on the stuff that's there, and then some additional information. This is a really good prairie. One of my other favorite things about it, besides the wood betony, is up across some of the hillsides here, it was planted really thick with pale purple coneflower. And so when the coneflower blooms, it's just solid purple on some of the hillsides. So it's a really pretty look. There's also silky aster, a lot of drop seed, some heart-leaved golden Alexander, and a lot of other good plants out here too. This is where the Modus Tower is going. We're working on a wildlife tracking system tower. There's already a ton of them set up, mostly in Canada. I'm not going to talk about that really today, but just for reference, the Modus Tower is going up in Hopkins Road Prairie, and so it helps with bird tracking. You can also track any other flying stuff really, bats, even dragonflies if they're large enough. You can track dragonflies, which I think is pretty crazy. So I think that's about all I've got for you guys today. But as I said before, feel free to leave your comments or questions in the comment section. And I definitely encourage you to come and visit Hopkins Road Prairie, especially right now. And over the next week or two maybe, this wood betony is going to be flowering really hard, and there's going to be bumblebees all over the place. And that's a really fun sight, a good sign of spring. It's also a good place to see, for some reason, northern flickers. There's a lot of those here, and meadowlarks. But right now, for me, the plants and the bees are the highlight. Thanks for tuning in.